The internet is a great source of information for students, and there may be times when you want to use a reputable, scholarly web page in your writing. In this video, we'll explore how to create a reference entry for a web page. First, let's look at the basic components of web page reference entries. We start with the author or authors of the web page, which is often the organization, company, or department who owns or is responsible for the website. Next, we include the publication date within parentheses. For publication dates, we do not use a copyright date on the web page. These copyright dates are often automatically updated throughout a website, so they aren't a reliable indicator of when the source was published or last updated. Instead, look for a specific published or last updated date on the page, and include the most specific date available. If you can't find any publication date information, use the abbreviation N.D. for no date. After the year, we include the title. Be sure to use sentence case and italicize this title, meaning only the first word of the title, the first word after a colon, and any proper nouns are capitalized. After the title, include the site name, if it is different than the author. For example, if there's an individual author for the web page, then you'll include the site name. If the entry's author is an organization, you usually won't include the site name. And finally, end the reference entry with the URL of the web page. Note that this should be the full URL of the specific web page, not the website's home page. Finding the right information for citing a web page can be tricky because each website looks so different. Let's explore where you can commonly find this information. For the author of the web page, look for an individual author either before the content on the page or at the very bottom. If no individual author is listed, then use the organization, company, or department that owns the website as a whole. This information is often listed at the top of the web page. After the author, find the date. As mentioned previously, look for a published or last updated date. If there isn't any other publication date information, use the abbreviation N.D. for no date. Next, we need to find the title. This can also be tricky because each website uses different formatting. Look for the title that encompasses the entire web page, which is often placed highest on the page and can be part of the page's URL. The final component is the web page's URL. This is found at the top of the browser. Make sure you copy the entire URL, even if it is quite long. Doing so will ensure the reader can find the exact web page. Now that we have all of the information, we can create the reference entry. Here you can see that I've included the organization's name as the author. This web page doesn't have a publication year, so we'll use N.D. Next appears the title in sentence case and italicized. Finally, I've completed the entry with the direct URL of the web page, although I have not included a site name since the site name would be the same as the author. Before we move on, I want to pause for one additional tip. If the content of a web page is likely to change or meant to change over time, APA allows writers to include the retrieval date, meaning the date you access the web page. Use your best judgment to determine if this retrieval information is needed, basing your decision on your knowledge of the web page's content. Let's look at one more example of a web page reference entry, this time of a page that has an individual author. Here we can see that this web page is from the Mayo Clinic website, but it lists M.A. Osman as the author. We can also see a specific published date, December 15, 2016, for this web page. Here's the resulting reference entry. It looks a little different than our previous example because we have an individual author listed, along with the specific date the web page was published. This entry also includes the site name, Mayo Clinic, because there is an individual author. I know reference entry formatting can be overwhelming at first, so be sure to follow our suggestions. Approach the reference entry a section at a time. Follow the examples on our website, in this video, and in the APA manual. Keep in mind the tips we've discussed. Pay close attention to formatting and punctuation, and ask if you have questions. We're happy to help.